Hey, it's Jeff Knudsen again. Going to talk to you some more about the Red Sea Max 250. I look a little blue tonight. I've got my tank halfway open and the lights are a little bluish, making me look good. But I've got the sand in and I'm going to turn the camera around and show you what I plan on doing next as far as putting some water in the tank and getting things ready to go to start the cycle to get it ready to put fish, coral, and etc. in. So I'm going to turn the camera around, tell you what I've done, tell you what I'm going to do, and then we'll get back with you after I've done some of the things I'm telling you about. So hold tight and I'll be right back. Boy, that was quick. This is the Red Sea Max 250. It's a little hard to see in this light. I understand. I apologize. It's nighttime. It seems like that's the right time to do this kind of stuff, but there's about 2.5 inches of sand. The thing I liked about this tank is that it has some very good lighting, and as you can see, I've got it open at the 3/4 mark or halfway mark, and it is really bright. I'm getting ready to fire up some water, if you can fire up water, but before I do that I want to show you the plan. First of all, I went to my local fish store today and picked up about 30 pounds of live rock. That's sitting there soaking in some salt water that I mixed up earlier. In this bucket is about 3 gallons of salt water as well. That is so I can rinse the live rock off a little bit before I put it in the tank. Seems like anytime you buy live rock at a local fish store, it's a little dirty. However, for those of you that are new to the hobby, you don't want to take a scrub brush to live rock. It's called live rock for a reason, and scrubbing it will only cause you to lose all the liveness off of it. There's all kinds of good little live creatures and organisms that come with the live rock. So anyway, as I'm scanning here, you're probably going, boy, he's got a mess. And I do, but it's a controlled mess. This is a 32-gallon trash can that is only used for water. It's got a hose running from my kitchen sink that I will be filling it up to about 20 gallons, adding some salt, stirring it up good, checking the salinity, which is how much salt there is in the water, and then I will be pumping it into the Red Sea Max 250. Over here I've got the salt, my little half cup, which by the way, generally speaking, salt is mixed at half a cup per gallon. I also have a drill with a good old-fashioned paint stirrer on the end of it, and the reason I have that is that's a heck of a lot easier than stirring it with a spoon or a stick or whatever else. So once I get the 20 gallons in there, dump the salt in, I will start it up with the drill, and it'll make things go a lot quicker and a lot easier. To the left of the drill and the stirrer here is a pump that I will put in the trash can once I get the water and the salt stirred up and measured to the right levels, and I will pump that through this tube with a little invention of mine that we're going to try out tonight. It's a good old-fashioned multifunctional garden hose, flower water attachment or plant water attachment with multiple settings. And the reason I bought that and put it on the end of my hose is because in the past when I've set tanks up, inevitably you stir the sand up and you have to wait sometimes several hours for the sand to settle out. So I'm going to try sprinkling the first few gallons in, and hopefully that won't stir things up too bad. The blue lights are really setting off things in the room. It's not near that blue in the room, but I'm going to start putting some water from the sink over here through this tube and into the trash can. Again, putting some salt in it, stirring it up, testing it with a hydrometer, which is the tool instrument that they use. There's one sitting over there next to that flashlight, if you can see it tipped up there, to measure how much solid or how much salinity there is in the salt water. So I'll be back at you after I get some water mixed up and start putting it in the tank. So we've got the bucket roughly 20 gallons. Just measured the salinity. It's at 1.025, 1.025 and a half, roughly 35 parts per thousand. So we should be good to go. I've got the pump in there. As you can see, the hose runs up and into the tank. I'm going to plug it in, and with any luck, we'll have some good results. If not, you're going to see me look really, really stupid. So, watering the sand. And what I'm trying to do here is just keep from stirring things up any more than I have to. Kind of getting the sand soaked prior to putting more quantity of water in there, so I don't spend 3 days waiting for the sand to settle out. So, as you can see, my invention, it seems to be working. I'm going to turn the camera off now. I apologize for the bumpity bumps, and we'll see how it goes from here. Be back at you in a minute. Well, as I showed you earlier, I am filling the tank up, but I'm still using the water out of this bucket through a pump and funneling it up through, or pumping it up through rather, into a garden hose watering system, or watering device, you know, shower and soaker and spray and etc. But the reason I did that mainly was to keep the sand from getting a lot of sediment floating through the water and having to wait for the sand to settle out. Well, you know, obviously there's still a little cloudiness, but you can actually see down through the sand the sides and the bottom of the tank, and I know it's not coming through very clear. So this is definitely going to save some time as far as waiting for the sand dust, for lack of a better word, even though it's in water, sand sediment to settle out and let the water clear up. So we'll see how long this takes, but so far so good. This will be the last installment for this part of the video segment. As you can see, I've got probably, I don't know, 70% of the water in the tank. I have also put the live rock in after I rinsed it off a little bit in the bucket. And you can see that the water is still quite cloudy, even though I used the new sprinkler invention. And truthfully, that water is probably 50% clearer than it would have been had I just put the hose in the tank and stirred the sand up. Plus, if you notice, the sand bed is still in fairly flat order. So I think it worked out a little bit, probably saved me a little time. Anyway, excuse me, for those of you that haven't ever set up a salt aquarium before, this water will settle out over the night, and I will continue filling it up in the morning. As you can see, I've got my water ready to go. A couple people asked me, actually my daughters said, how do you know when you've mixed the water enough? And the water, salt water, should look just as clear as bottled water. There shouldn't be any type of haze to it at all. And then of course you've got to measure your salinity for the correct level for your tank. This is still at 1.025, or dead on 35 parts per thousand, and I've still got my recovery bucket set up here for my live rock. Tomorrow I'm going to dump those out, put a little, probably I will buy 5 gallons worth of store-bought salt water and fill those up, put 5 more gallons out of this tank in there, and begin to move a few pieces of coral temporarily in there while I steal some live rock to put in the new tank, and then I'll transition the coral, because this tank's due for a water change anyway. I'll transition the coral into some PVC pipe back in this tank until the new Red Sea Max 250 is ready to go. So that's pretty much it for tonight. I've got some activated carbon that I've got to rinse through and put in the back, and then turn the pumps on once I get the water filled up, and we'll see what happens. But for tonight, I've got to let that water settle out, and hopefully by the time I wake up in the morning, it'll be good to go. So I'm signing out for tonight. Thanks for watching my video, and the other ones, if you've watched them, please come back. Tell your friends that are aquarists, people that like to do aquarium stuff. And like I said, fish tank words are not good for me. But tell them about it, have them check it out, and keep checking back because I'm going to do it daily. See you next time, tomorrow.